Hey, it's Erica. I revolutionize healing and thriving opportunities by unifying real food nutrition, mind-body integration, and individualized biochemistry. In this video, I'm going to share with you the 3 kinds of thyroid imbalances. Unfortunately, most thyroid imbalances are lumped into one category, and I see this happen with primary care physicians, even specialists like endocrinologists. I see this happen with my clients, and unfortunately, it just inhibits the ability to really get to the root cause of what's actually going on with your thyroid, because thyroid problems are never actually the cause of thyroid problems. They're always secondary to something else. So in order to dig deeper, you got to figure out what's actually going on in the thyroid. So number 1, the first kind of imbalance that can be happening in the thyroid is true low or high functioning thyroid. So hyperthyroid, high functioning, hypothyroid, low functioning thyroid. And this is the result of a kind of imbalance in the HPA and HPT axes, which is the hypothalamus pituitary adrenals, hypothalamus pituitary thyroid. And so this kind of imbalance is usually the part of a larger integration in the endocrine system. So that's number 1. Number 2 is a conversion problem. A conversion problem means that the biochemical T4 is not converted adequately to T3. So these are some, but not all, of the substances that are created and converted in the thyroid. And when your doctor tests your thyroid levels, they don't usually do a full comprehensive panel. They usually are overly reliant on something like your TSH, and they may test like maybe just your free T3 and T4, or your total T3 and T4, but they don't do a comprehensive panel, right? And they don't test your antibodies, which I'll get into in just a moment. So the conversion of T4 to T3 largely takes place in the liver. Many people are under the impression that a lot of it has to do with the gut. Now, it's true that there's a good portion of it, but that's secondary to the conversion that takes place in the liver. And most of us in the modern world have ravaged guts, and we certainly have backed up livers, but let us not forget the liver. So T4 is not converting adequately to T3. That means that you would have a conversion issue. And this also explains why people who are on thyroid medication, or like a natural thyroid, but it only provides T4, will continue to experience a persistence of symptoms. And usually, you're just kind of like grasping. You don't know why this is the case. You're like, when I'm taking medication, why am I still experiencing symptoms? I guess I'm just a lost cause. No, you're not a lost cause. What you're taking just isn't right for your condition, because whoever you're working with isn't really aware that that's actually the condition. So you need to be able to investigate a number of factors, or work with somebody who knows how to do this, to assess what's really going on in the thyroid. And then you're going to backtrack even more and figure out like what's the root cause of that. So that's number 2. Number 3 is autoimmune thyroid. And this is a totally different condition from the others, and usually it's lumped into number 1. So the idea that one might have hypothyroid is totally different from having autoimmune hypothyroid, but there are many, not just doctors, but endocrinologists that will say if they see elevated antibodies, and if you actually do test for antibodies, because most doctors and a lot of practitioners won't test for them, if you see an elevation and you don't present with symptoms necessarily, or other kinds of factors in your lab work do not present as being out of range according to standard reference ranges, and I'm usually looking at functional reference ranges, which is a narrower range, and it's more indicative of optimal functioning of the thyroid, and it's usually more indicative also of problems that may pass under the radar if you're just using standard reference ranges. So when the antibodies are elevated, oftentimes doctors may say that you either are at risk for having like hypothyroid or hyperthyroid, or you do have antibodies, but you're not currently hypothyroid. And sort of like, okay, but what's, how do I prevent it, or how do I dig deeper? So having an autoimmune condition is totally different from having just lower high functioning thyroid, and the root causes of it are also potentially different. Root causes will be discussed in another video or written content that I will be creating shortly. But if you are interested in digging deeper in your health in general and on this specific topic of the thyroid, do subscribe to my channel and sign up for my free updates at my website, ericaherman.com. That's ERIKAHERMAN. Yes, like Pee-wee. And I will see you in the next video.